And we're back, and we're still live, and we're on AM660theanswer.com. And I want to thank you folks for sticking with us and going to the extra effort, if you do, to listen to us on the computer. Maybe you listen to us always on the computer, and if you do, we thank you for that. And I am Christopher Hart, along with Lair Adams, the chairman of the board, Mike McBath, in the studio. We're up on the Periscope. Lucas Harris has us on our YouTube channel, American Adversaries TV. Nicholas Cicero is on the bridge, exhausted, but still with us from the Disney Marathon the other day, the 24-hour freeze party at Disney. 407-774-8255 is the number. And we want to remind you once again that we will be here tomorrow for probably the whole 2 hours just on the airwaves. But if you're listening on the computer, of course, you can always listen to us, and you probably get the better signal on the computer. Okay, Mike, I was thinking about you last, well, I guess it was Friday, pick up the Wall Street Journal, and there on the front page, I was thinking about you because I don't have any insurance. I got aced out. They pushed me out of the market. And because on paper I don't have any income, I can't even get into the Obamacare exchange, which is probably the best thing of all. But here's the story. Health insurers seek big increases. In New Mexico, market leader Healthcare Services Corp is asking for an average jump of 51.6% for premiums in 2016. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, 36.33% increase. And the list just goes on and on. Of course, you've talked about the huge increases that you've suffered.
I can give you a real example. I have Humana, and this is for my wife and 2 kids, and our kids are in their 20s, but the reality of it is it went from $610 a month to $1,081. Now, so let's make it $1,100, okay? Now we know what that's, right off the bat, you're around $12,000, $13,000.
Right.
But now I got to pay over $300 a month for Medicare. So, reality of it is I'm up around $16,000, plus for my Humana, yeah, watch this now, plus with my Humana, the deductible is $7,000.
$7,000 with that kind of coverage.
You got it. Well, so but imagine the people that are out there that don't have. That's why we have the Army
basic
here,
insurance,
and they also don't have the ability to bitch what's going on, because the reality of it is these people are paying for everybody. I mean, this is not a funny thing, and if our politicians would get to work and start weeding out and seeing what's going on, they got a great argument that it's going to be hard to stop when they run for office.
Well, let's just say it's getting ready to hit the fan, because the money is running out. The money is running out in states around the country. California has run out of
We knew it was going to happen.
Of course, we're having this big controversy in the state of Florida over whether we should even take the money to begin with. And by the way, the special session starts next week. We shall see where that goes. But the Wall Street Journal article cites high medical costs incurred by people newly enrolled under the Affordable Care Act as the reason that all of these insurance companies are seeking these increases. In other words, the people who are getting free insurance are costing a lot of money, so the people who can pay for it are going to have to pay more, like you.
Right.
The problem, though, is even for the people who are getting Obamacare, the poorest of them are too poor to use it.
Yes.
They have insurance that they can't use. And the reason is what Mike just said.
Deductible.
The deductible is so high. They can't pay the deductible. But they still have to pay for the insurance.
The premium.
And
right.
One other thing I forgot to mention. Now, I'm up around 16. I forgot to mention the NFL pays $140 a month for me, which I'd have had to pay for the Supplement C, Medicare C.
Right.
So now, let's figure it out. I'm probably paying about $17,000, $18,000
per year.
Yeah, but you aren't having to pay for mammograms, Mike.
Oh, I don't know.
Unless you can't make the deductible. But it's insane. But see, once again, though, even eventually the shall we say, the least blessed amongst us with analytical skills are going to figure out that they're not liking paying for something they can't use.
Yeah. Well,
nobody likes to do that. I don't care what walk of life you come from.
And you were forced to buy this.
Forced to buy something you cannot use.
What I think is good is like articles like that. As we go into next January, February, March, now these people are going to get billed for their insurance.
Yeah.
It starts appearing October, November, December.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I think you're going to see a fewer. I know I listen to the radio like all of us, and then I saw that, well, somebody say, well, right now it's about 50-50. Well, wait till they get their billing this time, buddy. It ain't going to be 50-50. The effect is really starting to take hold.
And not only that, but the longer that people have these insurance policies they can't use, many people haven't even tried to use them yet. When they go to try to use it, the cold, sad, hard truth is going to slap them right upside the head, like old Hacksaw's 2x4.
Yeah.
And they're not going to like it. They're not going to like it.
And they ask you right up front, can you pay the deductible?
Right.
You got $7,000 in your pocket?
And probably most people don't even know what the deductible is.
No, I honestly believe they don't.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they get away with it for a while.
For a while.
But
Till they go, like Chris says, till they go to the hospital.
But eventually,
or the doctor.
Eventually, when they go to use it, they go to discover that it's not all that it was meant to be. But in the process, though, when you sign up for Obamacare, whether you know it or not, you may be signing up for food stamps. You may be signing up for a whole lot of other things that you don't know.
Well, when you mentioned food stamps, we went from a few years ago, 47 billion. We're now up to 74.6 billion
a year.
Food stamps.
Yeah. The most people in America ever on food stamps.
Right.
And it's because we're giving them to people who don't need them.
No, Chris, no. The liberals would say, because now we're feeding the people that can't afford to eat.
Yeah, no. What I mean,
can't afford to eat.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Well, let me back up in case somebody out there doesn't mean. I didn't mean to say that all of the food stamps are going to people who don't need them. Obviously, some people do need the assistance. Here's the problem, though. When we give the assistance to people who don't really need it, we are jeopardizing it for those who do. You see what I'm saying?
And giving them the reason to get off of it.
Right. Well, not only, yeah, exactly. It's a double whammy because they don't have the right incentive, and they're bankrupting the system.
Well, don't you think Congress would know that if the unemployment rate comes down, food stamps should go down, the use of food stamps not go up?
Well,
we've gone from like 10% down to 5.5, 5.6, yet food stamps going from 47. Whoa. Well, this was to take care of everybody.
The food stamp are betraying the lie of the unemployment rate. The only reason the unemployment rate is sub 5% is because so many people aren't even looking for jobs.
That's exactly right. It betrays the story given to us out of Washington.
Right, absolutely. So I don't doubt that the need for food stamps has gone up under this administration for the reasons that we've been talking around here. But to have gone up that dramatically, I doubt that that's...
No, they're out there soliciting it. And
sure. Yeah, exactly.
The scary part is our national debt, just the clock keeps ticking and ticking.
And how much of this, Chris, do you honestly think in the back of Barack's mind? To me, it's still, looking at his way of thinking, it still seems like reparations.
Well,
to some extent.
It's income redistribution in a perverted sort of way, because the redistribution isn't getting to the people he's trying to distribute it to. In other words, the wealth seems to be just sort of disappearing. Or going to the Clinton Foundation or other organizations like that, and Bill Gates. I mean, Gates and Warren Buffett are doing just great. I mean, they're richer than they've ever been.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Warren Buffett's about almost doubled his wealth since Obama became president.
And remember, he was against the pipeline because he owns the railroad.
Yeah. So, he's
a true guy.
He's one funding Acorn and what it's now become.
Yeah, and he took the merger of Burger King to Canada so he wouldn't have to pay taxes on his investments.
Yeah.
I mean, this once again betrays the lie. Any government that tells you they can redistribute wealth is really just telling you that they are going to take somebody's wealth and make everybody poor. Right. Because there's no way to take the wealth from the rich and give it to the poor. The poor wouldn't know what to do with it to begin with. I'm sorry to say. Because they never worked for it. You only know what to do with wealth when you work for it, when you have to go out and get it on your own. When it's just laid in your lap, you really don't know what to do with it. This is why so many lottery winners end up dead broke, because they never knew how to handle money to begin with.
Boxers, very famous story of many boxers.
I hate to say it, but athletes, Mike, you know this.
I mean, but you can go into like Haiti and the Dominican Republic and a lot of these different islands down there. Why haven't they really progressed to they have great manufacturing capabilities and everything else? They don't have reinvestment capital.
No.
They live hand to mouth, day to day, and they never get off the dole.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of you're doing injustice to them because they've never learned, and they just can't get out of their own way. And what the liberals have done too, particularly our inner city people, is they've been taught absolutely the wrong way to survive in a progressive, I hate that word, not progressive, in a country where success is the ultimate goal.
Well, and then you have as competition China with a populace of people that are willing to work hard or are willing to go to the top. They're not there living for the handout. They're like, hey, everybody's got to do what they can to survive and grow.
Boy, we should, I'm looking at some statistics here from Baltimore and how long the liberals have controlled the cities.
50 years.
We should, yeah. As a matter of fact, we should make this a trivia question, maybe. The last Republican city council member in Baltimore left office when?
1968. 69.
No, you were closer when you said 50 years ago. Well, I guess, that would be about. No, actually, we're talking.
Hello.
We're talking 70 years ago.
Oh my God.
1942.
Was the last time they had a Republican
on the city council in Baltimore. It's no wonder they're in the situation that they're in. The last mayor Republican mayor left in 1967, so you were real close on that one. In the Maryland Senate, it has 33 Democrats, 14 Republicans today.
Yeah, Republican governor.
And the list goes on. But it still is incumbent upon the Republicans to point all this out, to make the case. And there are some attempts to do this, but they're pretty feeble when you ask me.
You would think too, going into an election, they would hire somebody to take Chicago, take Detroit, and take Baltimore, and just say, look, this is the study we did, this is it, and this is why.
Yeah.
And say, if we're ever going to correct it, we got to do it now. You've had your chance, Mr. O.
Yeah.
You failed miserably. If you were a football coach, you'd been fired 5 years ago. Unfortunately,
and never rehired.
Right, and you never get a job again. But they should know this down pat.
I know. If I were a Republican super PAC, I would be using this situation, if you will. I'd take Rahm Emanuel's advice. Okay, I'd take the crisis and use it. All right, I would run ads around the rest of the country saying, look at what's going on in these cities, and this is a result of liberal policies. I would run ads in those cities, and I would say, you can thank your liberal politicians for the situation that you're in. And then point out facts like you've had Democratic mayors, you've had liberal politicians running your city. If you are not satisfied with the results, you need to rethink the people you are putting in office.
And one last question is, did you pick your $5,000 check up?
Yep.
Did you get paid for that protest?
It's the Tea Party's fault. That's why they didn't get paid.
All right. Okay, folks. We come back. We got another segment to go. We got more things to talk about. Got to talk a little bit about the issue of trust. All right. We'll be right back.